Protein. Now this is a family friendly channel, so that's all you're gonna get for now. Where do you get your protein from? Protein, protein, protein. So I hear people talking about protein a lot, and I think it's very much misunderstood. So this channel, it's about everything, all encompassing health, nutrition. So I like to cycle a lot. So this will be about protein, but also it will relate to cycling, endurance sports, because that's what I do and I have experience with that. So I don't just read it and go regurgitate it. I have real world experience of the effects of protein and cycling and fitness and being lean and so on. So I think I hear it all the time, and you do as well. You see it everywhere. Everything says, it's got this much protein in it. You need to get your protein in and blah blah blah. And I see a lot of other influencers and whatnot, and they say, actually you're not even getting enough, and actually the rest of the population, so I live in the UK, so in the Western world, isn't getting enough protein. So these videos I like to do, I think I like to do them more unscripted, so it's just, my knowledge, comes across as authentic, so it's just, the knowledge that I have and I've gained, and I know that it works. So I have, I think, a good idea of what I'm talking about, because, I try it on myself and I get the, results that I'm looking for. So for me, lean, always lean. As you can see, I don't look like I have a deficiency in protein. And I think that's probably a good place to start, is protein deficiency. Now you see on packaging and everything, 20 grams of protein in this yogurt or whatever, or protein bar, and I have to get my recommended amount of protein in. Well, there is not a single case in medical recorded history of protein deficiency. And that might seem like, a bold statement. Well, go and look on the literature that's published. I've looked. There is not a single case of a recorded case of someone suffering from protein deficiency. And you might say, well, there's people who are malnourished. They have and there's words for that, like kwashiorkor or whatever. I can't remember. Kwashiorkor or whatever. So that's not a deficiency in protein. That's just a deficiency in malnutrition. That's just malnutrition. So, and there's other names for different cases of groups of people found to be malnourished. That's just because that's a medical term used to describe someone who's basically dying of not eating enough. So they're dying. Whereas if you specifically are looking for a case where someone eats every day, a normal diet, inverted commas, they eat, there's no case of them lacking protein. And you might say, well, that's not true. Well, there's also not a word for protein deficiency in medical literature. So you might say, like there's a word for cancer. Cancer is cancer, and then heart disease. There's not a word for protein deficiency. Like you could just make up a random word and say, well, that's the word for it. Well, there isn't one. So that's the foundation to start with when people say, and I see people, they get concerned about protein. Well, there's never been a reported case of protein deficiency. So you don't need to necessarily worry. So don't worry. Your life's too short for worry. So you might say, for me, so what do I do? So my diet consists, probably for a lot of other people, with not much protein in it. So I don't worry about having this amount of protein, I have to have this amount of protein, because you don't need to. You don't need to worry. Stop worrying about everything. Now, what I eat, the staple food that I have is rice. So I will literally eat that 3 times a day, yeah. Breakfast, lunch, and tea. So that's like, if you imagine, rice is like the skeleton, the backbone of my diet or my lifestyle, really. And then on top of that, I put other things on it. So I like to have, a lot of fruit, and I'll have other things as well. Like I'll have pasta, and these are other staples that you can have. And yeah, it has protein in it. Everything that animals, they eat, plants, the protein is synthesized by the plants. So we humans, our species, there's 20 amino acids. We can make 12 inside of us, and we have to get the other 8 from elsewhere. So protein is made up of amino acids, 20 of them, and you have to get those 8 that the body can't synthesize elsewhere. So I'd say I get it from rice and fruit, and all plants have all of the essential amino acids, all of the amino acids. So again, you don't need to worry about that. So you might wonder, well, how do you know that you're getting enough and blah blah blah? Well, to put it into context, okay, about, well, am I getting enough for what I'm doing? So for endurance sports, which I have a lot of experience with, cycling, running, if you want to be lean, so you want to have your weight go down, then you want to decrease your protein intake, and you don't have to necessarily chase foods that have less or eat less to eat less protein. So a lot of people, they wonder why they're overweight or they want to be leaner, but yet they're eating like the bodybuilder diet, which is, as you know, it's lots of fat, and lots of protein. And if you want to do that and go for that, that body type where you're big and you go to the gym, then yes, you will want to increase your protein intake. So this video, if you get anything out of it, you don't need to be a cyclist or a runner or, into sport or exercise, which I say is wrong. Cycling is amazing, but that's for another video, other videos on the channel. But if you want to be, the cycling aesthetic, which is weight down, be as lean as you can, and have your power as high as possible. So that's, watts per kilo. So you want the watts up and the weight down, and to be lean. But if you want to, do the gym stuff, the gym life, rather than the bike life, then you want to increase your protein intake. And really for doing gym, I like cycling because it can be translated to other things in life. So you can judge your performance on the bike in the rest of your life. So if you're doing well on the bike, you'll do well in the rest of life. And there's also so many positive benefits of cycling. Whereas for gym, doing the gym stuff, really the only thing you're getting is that you'll look good when you take your clothes off. I mean, that's really the only benefit really in life. It doesn't really translate to longevity and all of these other things that we talk about. So if you want to increase your weight for gym, it's protein, but protein does not build muscle. Okay, I hear it so many times, if I have to get my protein to get big. So protein is the amino acids that make protein. These are the building blocks that if you give your body, it's, the drugs inside you, so naturally, So like, the hormones, you call them drugs when you take them externally. So testosterone, for example, anabolic steroids, they increase your mass. It's not the protein that increases your mass. So if you ate a kilo of protein a day, for example, you would not build a kilo of muscle every day, because if you did, you would be the size of a small moon, wouldn't you? So it's the anabolics, hormones in the body that build muscle. So for example, insulin is a very anabolic steroid. It's more anabolic than testosterone. And yeah, some bodybuilders, and it does happen, they use it to, they will inject insulin to increase their size. So they're eating a lot of protein. You can do it naturally. You don't need to take drugs. I never recommend taking drugs in any form of life. Yeah, you will increase your mass with protein and the anabolics that increase your mass, cause growth of muscle. So yeah, when you increase your protein intake naturally, you will decrease insulin sensitivity, which means that you will have more insulin longer in your released into your bloodstream, and then you will become more anabolic. So that's why I recommend more protein for going to the gym, because of the effects of the anabolics in your body, not because just eating protein will make you big. So that's for gym stuff, for the gym life. But the thing that I'm really focused on, I think is important, and I think, say, you don't need to be a cyclist or a gym bro or whatever. You could be anyone, and I hope you can take away good information from this video. So for a cyclist, if you want to be lean for a cyclist, you want to decrease your protein intake. I've already said you don't need to be on some fad diet to do that. Rice is a great staple, okay? And I've said the reason for this is because the less protein you're having, the more sensitive you are to insulin, and therefore your body is less anabolic. So you're going to lean down and have this lean muscle. Now you might wonder, well, from what I recommend, it sounds like I'm talking about fad diets or whatever, and my body will fall apart if I eat, like you say, don't have protein. Well, when do humans grow the most in their lives? So we talk about growth and repair with protein, don't we? To growth and repair when we're at school, but we never really put two and two together, I think. Well, is it A, the first 6 months of your gym career, going to the gym and lifting weights, or is it B, the first 6 months of your life as a baby? So do you grow the most in the first 6 months of going to the gym, or the first 6 months of your life? Well, if you answered B, you'd be correct, because in the first 3 to 6 months of your life, you double in size. So you do the most growth then. And you would have to agree with me that the best food, inverted commas, for this growth, this max growth in your life, is human breast milk, your mother's breast milk. It's not formula milk or something else. That's what nature meant you to have, nothing else. And the percentage of protein in the milk, the human breast milk, your mother's breast milk, is 5% protein. So it's 5% protein by the calories of every 100. So every 100 milliliters by calories, it's 5%. 5%. And what does the World Health. Bring it up here. So the um, the World Health Organization, its recommendations for the minimum of protein is 5%. So isn't that a coincidence? And I say I'm not making these things up. You can go and look. That's what I've looked. Because I remember I used to, I was taken in, and my brain was conditioned and by the marketing. I used to have a lot of pea protein, for example, and that's 90%. So by every 100 grams, it's 90%. So 100 grams of pea protein is 90 grams of protein. And yeah, I was taken in. I thought I had to have it because I thought my body would fall apart or whatever. So that's clearly not true, is it? If you only need 5% protein to double in size. Yeah. So I hope all of this information helps, and maybe if you're a bit confused about well, how much do I need or whatever. So yeah, I recommend rice as your staple. So I have rice for breakfast, lunch, and tea, and I really enjoy it with a spicy, hot and spicy sauce. And there's other videos on the channel that talk about what I've learned and I know that works. So as you can see from the start of the video, I'm not protein deficient, am I? And I've eaten the same way now for years, and I've tweaked things and changed things over the years because I know that this works and this doesn't work. And as you can see, I'm very lean from what I eat, which is basically a lot of carbohydrates or sugars, and I don't worry about how much protein I get. I just get that naturally from the foods I eat. And as you can see, I'm not protein deficient. And I don't eat foods also that naturally have a lot of fat in them. So rice does not have a lot of fat in it. Sugar has no fat in it. And I'm not fat, I'm lean all the time. And I say this is a family friendly channel. So, that's as much as you're going to see, for now. So, yeah. Like and subscribe if this helped. I think I've covered everything I wanted to. Just the main point is that protein deficiency is not real. It doesn't exist. You're eating a diet. You are eating, and you're not just starving yourself. And you're eating a disordered eating. So I never restrict the foods that I recommend, but I do restrict to the foods that I recommend, if that makes sense. So I don't eat lots of fatty foods and high proteinaceous foods, high protein foods, because they have negative consequences. And just for example, the most common type of kidney stone is calcium based. So I think it's about 90% of all kidney stones are formed from calcium. Now, I hope this video could go on quite a long time, and I'll make other videos, but just for now, a reason why not to have too much protein. So I say you can't have too little, because you just can't. And when I say 5% for the World Health Organization, that's with a safety margin in tow. So I think it's 100% safety margin. So if they say 5%, you could actually get away with I think 2 or 3%, and you'd be fine. Again, you would be fine. But to eat that little amount of protein, I don't know what you'd even have. You'd have to literally just have table sugar, and that's obviously not. You have to have just table sugar and eat table sugar. So you're obviously not going to do that, because table sugar has no protein in it really. So yeah, so 90% of most kidney stones are based from calcium, made of calcium. Now, as protein is made of 20 amino acids, so it's in the name acid, these these molecules are acidic. So if you're eating a lot of protein and the body breaks it down into the constituent parts, so it breaks it down into all the amino acids, and then you absorb them into your blood, you will make your blood more acidic. And in order to buffer, so reduce the acidity in the body has to find something that's alkaline in order to neutralize the acid in the body. And it does this by, and it might seem scary, and I hope it sort of does scare you into thinking a bit more about these things. But the major source of an alkaline material in the body is the bones, and the bones are made, have a lot of calcium in them. And it's not that it's calcium that is used by the body to neutralize the acid, it's just that bones are made of alkaline material, and the body, will use the alkaline material of the bones, which obviously is made of calcium, a lot of it's structured on calcium, to neutralize the acid from the amino acids. And when your kidneys are filtering the blood, the calcium drops out and will form stones in the kidneys. And then, it's not something you ever want to have, kidney stones. So there you go. If you've ever wondered, that's where it comes from. And again, I'm not making this up. You can go and look at the scientific literature. It's all known. We all know this. So the next time you're thinking about, well, do I need to get more protein? There are negative health consequences of too much protein. And the opposite of, well, not having enough protein, it's not something that exists. It only exists in marketing and then in your mind when you've been told that that is the case. So no, we don't need to increase our protein intake. If anything, we need to decrease it, okay? So on this channel, I don't recommend the Homer Simpson diet or the vampire diet, as I call it. So flesh and blood, and bacon, eggs, and added bacon. It's rice, fruit, and sugar. And I'm the living example of what I speak. I live by what I speak. So most of the things, I would say, as long as I live, I'm never going to change what I say because I know that it's correct. And yeah, there'll be that 1% or so that I might, if I was wrong, I would say, I'm wrong. But, like for example today, these things that I'm talking about are known, and we know these things about protein. So I hope this helped, and I see a lot of people confused about it, and I'll make more videos. If I was to make a video about protein all in one, it would be 5,000 hours long. So I hope this helps for now. You can, even if you're not into exercise or whatnot, you can take from this and use it in your wider life to, I would say, we all want to be leaner and fitter. And I'm making this video now at the end of January 2025, and I know a lot of people maybe in the new year decided they wanted to get healthier and leaner and lose some weight, and it hasn't happened because they're following the advice of I need my protein, but also my lean protein and lean whatever. So it doesn't work, does it? We struggle to lose weight. Well, you don't need to. So like and subscribe, and continue on the health orientated life, health and fitness, because only really at the end of the day, the only thing that's important is health, isn't it? So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your time. Ciao.